There's Monument Valley. We're at Goulding's RV park and campground. And this red sand we've been going through for the past couple of days gets into everything. And just before we were going to sleep last night, I had left the door open slightly. Big sandstorm blew a ton of sand into the tent, covers everything. It's in my shoes, it's in my shorts, it's in my hair, it's on my legs, and the ground is really, really hard.
Extra steaks for you and your French neighbors. Woke up another beautiful morning with a bright blue sky. With everybody finally out of the tent, we decided to take a walk. I had already taken a walk earlier that morning because I always need like 2 hours less sleep than everybody else, and we just wandered along this little path and looked back at the campground. The place is pretty nice. It's nestled into a small area, and wandered up and kept on going. And this trail was pretty cool because it ended up at an arch. It's a tiny little arch that's apparently part of the property that the family owns, and even baby girl walked up, and there's the arch. You see it? Kid's got some good pictures next to the red Utah rock. Running along, just having a great time. And here's the arch. Nobody really noticed it until they got under it, and then they're like, oh, well, look at that little window. Running all over the place, having a great time. The air is dry, the sun is beautiful, the lizards are everywhere. You see rabbits every once in a while. And if you look closely here, you can see the moon. See the moon right above that arch? That was pretty cool. I didn't notice it until I looked back at the photos. And here's the moon underneath the arch. Again, totally didn't notice it until I went back to the photos. We were in the T39 site for tents at the Good Sand Park, Goulding's family. Our first installment of this trip is to Utah. We took 1,500 miles in 3 days. Chapter 2 was Colorado Springs to Mancos, Colorado, Mesa Verde National Park. Chapter 3, we ended up in Monument Valley after seeing Four Corners. Absolutely fabulous place. And this time, we're taking a road trip to Kanab, Utah to set up a base camp for about 4 days to see lots of stuff. Here's our trip. It's just beautiful. Lots of arid land. Not a whole lot of even trees for a lot of it, but beautiful geology. Some little roads. Not a whole lot of big highways around here. And just kept on going and going. And finally, we found a little rest area. Went through a little cow gate, and then wandered down with the kids. I had left Mama Bear and Baby Girl in the car, napping, and wandered off. Just wandered off the little children. You just have no idea. This is, if you haven't been here, you have to go because it's spectacular. The kids, it's super hot. We need water. We have to take water everywhere we go. You climb up everything, and you fall down everything, and you slide down everything, and you get sand everywhere, and you have to stop and take sand out of your shoes all the time. And they're beautiful, tiny little plants that are interesting, and the sand is really like silt. More interesting plants and cactus all together. Some old trees that really don't grow very well, and a shovel handle, which I found. And every once in a while, rain really washes stuff out, and this thing ended in a big, deep ravine with a pretty precipitous drop off. It's pretty cool. Didn't end up going down there, but look at all the trees and the roots and the interesting flowers. So we started clambering back up and headed back to the car and went under stuff and over stuff and climbed up things and filled our shoes with sand. And this is the life, wandering through the desert. I don't know that I want to live here. Got to smell some interesting plants, but man, it's super interesting. And some cow patties. Reunited at the car, we continued toward Lake Powell and Kanab. See? Cows really don't like crossing these things. They're called cattle guards. We got to take a look at some just big rock formations sticking up out of the desert floor. It's pretty neat. And that big power station that we passed. And eventually, we found a good place to eat lunch. Right next to Stromboli's, there's some kind of restaurant, I don't know what it is, next to the gas station in some town. We just found a corner, under a cover, and ate, next to a whole bunch of beer bottles and random other stuff. The tables are still around, but the business hasn't been running for a while. And then we saw the bright bluish green water of Lake Powell and that huge dam. It's impressive. It's all this water in the middle of the desert and all the white and gray and red rock all around it. This big lake in the desert. It's crazy. But this is one of the reasons why we had to take tiny little roads all around. There wasn't any straight road because of the huge lake from this dam. It's beautiful. It really has to be interesting planning to build a dam because you have to do all the mapping and figure out what nooks and crannies that dam is going to fill and how much water you'll end up having and what you'll be covering. Fascinating stuff. Okay, we've been in Arizona for a while. Some of that red rock wasn't Utah red rock, but hey, I mean, check this out. Beautiful trip. And just inside Kanab, we set up camp. And this is what you need to do. Use the little children to help you out. They gotta be helpers on this thing, because otherwise they're just gonna sit around and do bad things. So you direct them, you lay down the big, fat, thick ground cloth, and then lay out the tent, and have the kids start pounding in the stakes, get all those corners up, and then have the other big person put, oh, look at that. Tent goes up pretty well. Now this is not a fun process if it's raining. So you go to a hotel or whatever, something else, but if it's raining, this is pretty rough. And you have to set up a hammock, because somebody's got to take another nap.
Feliz
Look at that. There she is. Look at that cute little lady. Here's the place. Beautiful red rocks right across from the bathroom. A bunch of place for the kids to play and not a whole lot of people. Well, that's our trip to Kanab. Next several days will take us to other places. Thanks for watching Bike Physics for all the bicycles and motorcycles and family adventures. And thanks for that thumbs up too. Really helps a lot. New videos most Tuesdays. Subscribe for more. And you haven't figured it out yet, I got this other channel called Learn Physics. It's all about physics and education and that kind of thing. So check that out too.